Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of SimpliFinance. I'm your host, Shane. I know it's been a while since we've recorded an episode, and I really wanted to get on here today and talk about what's going on with the markets. This should, hopefully, with everything going on with the coronavirus, become a little bit more consistent as I'll have a little more time being at home. We're working remote for the time being with the company I work for, as most people are. And I live in Chicago, so I won't be spending a few hours commuting on the trains. I'm going to try to use that time wisely to do some more of these episodes. So obviously, if you have a pulse, you know what's going on as far as the coronavirus becoming a global pandemic over the last few weeks. Today is Monday, March 23rd, and really this is officially the start of week 2 of, at least for my company, our work from home policy in Illinois and Chicago specifically. This is officially a full day 2 of our stay-at-home order that was put in place here in Illinois, and it's what's happening across the country. And I really, like I said before, it's taken me a little time to decide what I want to do with this podcast. And video for you watching will be up on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. But today I really just wanted to dive in, talk about what's going on in the markets. For some of you that are newer or really just inexperienced in the market, and honestly, even those of you who are of my age group, like millennials, even if you've been doing this for a while as far as investing, I'll be honest, this is probably one of the crazier spans in the market from a decline standpoint that even any of us have seen. And I would argue that even some of our parents have not been investing in times that are quite like this. Even the financial crisis in '08, which caused the Great Recession from the housing market bubble, that wasn't as, I would honestly say that was not quite as shocking as what we are seeing, what we're dealing with today. So just to recap, I updated these this morning, but over the last month, all of the major U.S. markets are down roughly 30%. If I refresh everything for today, it's not looking good today either. I think a lot is kind of hanging on the line right now with what the government is going to add from a stimulus package, and that's a great topic that I can make another podcast on once that's finalized. I think that'd be better. As of now, the markets in the U.S. are down roughly 3% again this Monday. I think everyone's kind of freaking out right now, right? I think people are handling it in different ways from a financial perspective. For a lot of you that decided to hop into the stock market, this is scary, right? This is see your portfolio fall 30% in a month, especially if you look 6 months ago, and a lot of us leading up to this point, we're seeing our portfolios rise 15, 20%. The market was so hot. And then almost literally overnight, we went from that to this pandemic spreading across the globe, people finding new ways of living, working, even exercising, with so many things closing down. It's affecting the way of life, and of course you're seeing that in the market. So the first thing I just wanted to kind of preface with everybody is to not freak out, especially with your investments right now. In a minute I'll kind of go into, I would say, 2 scenarios depending on your situation that at this point I would suggest. And again, anything I say on here, it's my perspective. It's kind of what I'm doing with my family's finances. It's the way I'm thinking about navigating what's going on in the market. But by all means, do what you think is best. I'm just, one source of information, just trying to honestly help all of you. So yeah, I'll just jump right into it. So two options that I'm seeing right now, and a lot of the people that I talk to in the market, friends, family, and just things I'm reading, there's two options, right? There are people who, for a lack of better words, have been preparing for this for a long time. I think if you follow a lot of people in the market, I'm also a big fan of following a lot of entrepreneurs on social media and the such. And a lot of them, honestly, for the last year or two, have been talking about how hot the market's been. I even think in one of my early episodes, I mentioned the same thing, that it's been so hot that something was bound to bring it down. Now, I never, ever would have thought this is what would bring it down, right? But that's why it's the market, and we never know what's going to happen. So the two things that I could see people doing are, I'll start with the first one. People who have, again, to simplify this, a lot of cash. So people who are wealthy, who have done a great job of just saving over the last few years or even months, and people who are in no way, shape, or form worried about, number one, their job or their family's well-being right now because of their cash position. So, your bank accounts are looking very heavy and looking very healthy. If that's you, I think this is a scenario where you want to play this the long game. So what I mean by that is, it looks like you're losing a lot of money in the stock market. A lot of your investments that by now are probably either break even from so they're maybe, at the same point you bought them at months or a year ago or years ago, because it's fallen so far. And it has basically erased all of the positive upside you've made in the market over the last few years. If you're one of those folks, or even if you're in a decline now, like if a lot of your investments are below what you purchased them for, but you're sitting heavy in cash, my 2 cents would be just hold on. This is going to fix itself. Obviously, none of us know the timeline of all this coronavirus impact to the market or in all of our investments. But if that's you, my 2 cents would be hold on. If you have good positions and you are confident in your investments, you're diversified. We did a podcast a few episodes back on diversification, so you can always go back and listen to that if you don't know what that is. I would hold on tight. It's going to keep going down, I think. That's my 2 cents. I think until the cases in the United States specifically and across the globe start to kind of, that flattening of the curve, as a lot of people are calling it, happens, I think we're going to be stuck in this downward spiral. But hang on, because what that's going to do is allow you to keep those positions, not overreact, and honestly react from emotion and not off of data and math. And if it's not going to necessarily make or break you as far as like paying the bills right now, I'd leave it in. But option number two, and I think what a lot of people unfortunately are in a situation where either A, they're out of work right now because of all the closures and businesses having a hard time, or they honestly have a job, but their investments are nearing a point of them being below what they purchased them for, and you've done a poor job of saving, right? So if you don't have a nest egg, and if you don't have a stockpile of cash right now, I think a lot of people are really worried and want to pull their investments. I will say this. 9 times out of 10 would tell you when everyone gets emotional and starts selling, that is when you want to buy, right? Those are usually great scenarios if you look at the course of the stock market's history, where there's great deals on investments, right? So people are selling. They're cheap, right? The prices at that time are cheap. So that's usually when I tell people that's a great time to buy. This is unprecedented. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. We don't know the depth of it. It really depends on how fast all of us react. So I will say on the flip side, this is one of the, probably as long as I do this podcast and I'm involved in investing, that I would tell you this could be the right time for you to take money out of the market. If you're someone who, let's just play for fun numbers. Let's just say you have $1,000 in the stock market, right? And that $1,000 is either, doesn't matter, break even, you're up a little bit, or at this point you could be down on those investments in the stock market. One of Warren Buffett's most popular quotes and one of his biggest strategies is he never loses money on stocks. So if a stock goes way down, he's going to hold on to that bad boy until it finally breaks even and he can make a penny off of it. Then he'll sell it. I live by that too, and I never, ever, ever, ever like to sell stocks that I'm down on. But if you are a person who is strapped for cash, this could be a good time for you to pull that out, hold on to the cash. And honestly, not to plug my own podcast, but this could be a great opportunity for you to just hold on, pay attention to the market. This will hit a bottom and it will turn back up. And at that point, keep that cash unless you absolutely need it. If you lost your job and you're trying to make ends meet, that's a whole different scenario. But there's going to be some great buying opportunities. Great buying opportunities coming up. And so that kind of puts me into the last point of today's podcast, planning for the rebound. So there will be a rebound. Like I said, this will iron itself out. And a part of this, and honestly, the biggest point of me doing all this is wanting to help. So I love helping people with their finances. I've had a lot of friends who have wanted to get into investing or are very, one toe in to the market right now, have been asking me lots of questions on what am I looking to buy? Am I holding on right now? Am I selling? When that does rebound, what am I buying? So what I'm going to do, this is going to be a new part of this ecosystem of SimpliFinance. I'm going to create and launch essentially just a Google Sheet, very simple concept, nothing too crazy, that I will link to the show notes and I'll share on social media. And it'll be view only, so you can glance at it whenever you want. But essentially what it'll be is kind of a follow along that I can put all my investment strategies at this point on and what I'm thinking as far as where are good areas to invest. And it'll have a lot of, goofy financial nerdy data that you probably have a lot of questions on. I'll try to keep it simple as part of this podcast in this show, but please ask questions through either social media. You can drop me an email or even ask questions on this podcast post. So yeah, I will launch that. It'll be free, of course. I'm not going to charge anyone for this. And again, it's guidance. It's guidance as far as what I'm thinking, right? So don't just take this and buy everything on here. I'm not the be-all, end-all of what you should invest in. It's just my 2 cents from honestly being in investing for a long time now, over 10 years, and really just an absolute passion for finance in the stock market. So please ask questions. Honestly, even please poke holes in anything you see on my tracker, my radar that you think doesn't make sense. I'd love to know. It'll help make me better, which can in turn help make this podcast better and help more people. And then above all, share this, please. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. I'd love to get more people on this. And my thought is maybe this can evolve into something bigger that's more than just me putting it on there. Maybe this can be a shared template that folks can put their own ideas in here, and we can start to help people. So again, the link will be in the show notes. And that's it today, folks. I hope all of you are staying healthy, staying safe. My biggest advice right now is just to be optimistic, be calm. At the end of the day, this will pass. There will be brighter days ahead, especially in the stock market. I have a feeling when this rebounds, it'll rebound in a dramatic fashion. And just, again, be optimistic. I think there's a lot of negativity floating around. The news is just filled with so much scare tactics, and obviously everyone's nervous for a lot of good reasons, but be optimistic. The market will come back. I think we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, our investment strategies, our savings or lack of savings. This is kind of a reset button for a lot of people. So be optimistic. And at the end of the day, my 2 cents is this could be one of the best investment periods of our lifetime coming up. So if the markets continue to tumble where they are, if a lot of you are ready at that time, it'll be potentially one of the best buying opportunities I think any of us, I'm in my late 20s, could potentially see in our lifetime. One of the top 5 for sure. So hang on tight. Thank you for listening. Stay positive. Stay healthy. I love all you beautiful people. Have a good one.